Yes, good evening from the side. How you doing today? You're most welcome to another exciting review of Winning with People by John C Maxwell. And today we are going to be talking about the learning principle, which says that each person we meet has the potential to teach us something. Louis Armstrong says there are some people that if they don't know, you can't tell them. All right, so we're going to start with the story of a man called Joey Pantoliano, popularly known as Joey Pants by his friends. He was an actor, an award-winning actor, and then he had a very interesting upbringing. His parents were gamblers, and he grew up in one of the toughest neighborhoods in the United States of America, in New Jersey. He was born and he grew up there. He grew up in Hoboken in New Jersey, the United States of America. It was a tough area indeed. He grew up among criminals, among mafias, and the likes. But then a turning point came in his life when his cousin Florio Isabella got out of prison and moved into his household when Joey was just 13 years old. This guy had just gotten out of prison. In fact, he had spent like 21 years in prison just because his parents were drug dealers. They would make drugs, heroin, right in their apartment there in the US, in their one-room apartments. They would prepare heroin and they would give him to go and sell. And by age 12, he was already selling narcotics. Right. Not only that, he had been involved in armed robbery, he had been involved in all kinds of criminal activities. In fact, he was described there as a career criminal. So going to prison, coming out and all of that was already like a career for him. It was no big deal for him anymore. But then when he got out of prison this time around, he came to live in Joey's house. And even while he was there, he joined a gangster of robbers, known as Paradise Brothers. And there was a time he received $50,000 cash. So that is to say that they made a lot of money. But a turning point came in his life when one of the gang members was killed. And this got him thinking. And the result of his thinking or his thoughts was that he said to Joey that he was never going to allow him to become a criminal. He was never going to allow him to partake in any criminal activity like him. Because truly, this is how criminals are born. You grow up with somebody who is into crime and all of that. And so you start towing their steps. You start towing the same path that they are towing. But this guy, Flory, made sure that Joey did not become a criminal. He often told him, he would say, every move I made was always the wrong one. And that is not going to be you. He was the only one who had faith in Joey and told him that he could become anything that his heart wanted to become. So Joey's desire was to become an actor. He really had flair for acting. In fact, when he told his mother was like, no way, stop deceiving yourself. Nobody from our family had ever become an actor, just quit it. But Flory did not give up on him. In fact, he was the one that linked him up, or it was so instrumental to his acting career. When he got his first acting job, he drove him there. He even gave him some money. He supported him. When Joey struggled in the first 7 years of his acting career, Flory was there to support him, to encourage him. He really played a big role in his life, in the success that Joey later got in life. Right, to the point that in the end, Joey said that I am left with the tragic fact that the one person in my life who made me feel I could be something did some very terrible things. So he was actually feeling bad that everybody would think that Flory was a bad person, he was a criminal. But look at the big impacts that he played in Joey's life. If not for him, probably Joey would have also become a criminal, he would have become a gambler or an armed robber, and he would have been in and out of prison. He himself said it, that if not for Flory, his return address would be Attica, New York, meaning prison. He would have been in and out of prison. So the essence of the learning principle is to say that you can learn from anybody if you have the right attitude. That is what we're going to look at next. It is your attitude that determines whether you're actually going to learn from people, because everybody has the potential to teach us something if only we have the right attitude. So there are three kinds of attitude. Yeah. Number one is no one can teach me anything. That is an arrogant attitude. If Joey had not been open-minded with Flory to say, okay, even though this guy might be is a criminal, he's been out in and out of prison, he has nothing to offer me. If he had even tried to run away from him, he too would have probably become a criminal. Right. So the first attitude is no one can teach me anything. No one can teach me anything. That is an arrogant attitude. Some people develop this attitude in life when they feel that they have attained a particular position or height in life. Maybe you're a PhD holder, you feel like, oh, nobody can tell you anything again. You have done all the research in the world. You have acquired all the knowledge that you're supposed to acquire. Or maybe you're a senior person at your place of work and you undermine the opinions of your younger colleagues. An arrogant attitude. I don't need you. What do you have to say? What do you have to teach me that I don't know already? The second attitude is someone can teach me everything. That is a naive attitude, expecting one person to teach you everything. The author says that you don't need a mentor, you need mentors. Different people are actually going to play different roles in your life. So look for somebody that can be your mentor in marriage, somebody can be your mentor in your career, somebody can be your mentor in spiritual things, in different areas. Somebody can be your mentor in how you speak, your communication, and so on. So don't be naive thinking that, oh, one person is going to teach you everything. No one person possesses, whatever. No one person possess, I must get it right. No one possesses, yes. Sorry about that. No one person possesses the capacity to teach anybody anything. We are all, given talents and skills and abilities in parts, right? The third attitude is everyone can teach me something. That is a teachable attitude. If you open up your mind and you are flexible, you actually see that you can learn from anybody. Even your children, you can learn from them. Even your students, if you're a teacher, you can learn from them. Even your house help, if you have one, you can learn from him or her. Right, that is the way life is. It doesn't mean that everybody you meet is going to teach you everything, but it means that everybody has the potential to teach you something, even when they don't speak, maybe from their body language or whatever. You can actually pick something from them. Now, how do you learn from other people? Number one, make learning your passion. Are you open-minded? The day you stop learning is the day you start dying. In the words of a famous philosopher, I don't know who, right? But it's a popular saying. The day you stop learning is the day you start dying. Don't ever get to the point where you feel comfortable that you don't want to learn anything again. You feel that you have known it all. Always be eager. Always be curious. Always be open-minded. To learn, continuous learning is key. Until you enter the grave, you still have to keep learning. There are new things to be discovered. Number two, value people. The author gave an example of when he attended a conference and was looking forward to learning from the best people at that conference, the greatest speakers and everything, until he got into a room during one of the breakout sessions and everybody had to share their experiences and he actually learned from people. So value people. Don't ever underrate anybody to say, what does she have to offer? No. You can learn from people's failures. You can learn from their mistakes. You can learn from their successes and so on. Number three, develop relationships with growth potential. That means that you have to be intentional with the relationships that you get into. Don't get into a relationship with somebody that will pull you back or will keep you at the same level that you are. Any relationship you get into, make sure that there is growth potential for that relationship. The person can inspire you. The person can motivate you. It could be in your field as well. The person can just spur you into greatness. They possess some creative abilities. They are high achievers. They are experts in their fields. They can help you get to the next level. They can help you gain clarity on what you are trying to do in life. Make sure that they have something to offer you. Don't just get into relationships because we say, oh, relationships are currencies, and then you get into relationship with anybody. Because you have to remember that relationships help us define who we are and what we become, right? So be very, very careful. Can the person offer you anything? Get into such relationship. Then number 4, identify people's uniqueness and strengths. I have my strengths, I have my weaknesses, I have my uniqueness, I have my areas of strength, and so on. The same thing applies to you, right? When you meet somebody who is doing well in what you want to do, that means they are well equipped in that area. Go close to them. Their strength will rub off on you, right? The person's strength will actually help your own weakness, and that is how you get along in life. Connect with them intentionally. Yes, connect with them intentionally and tap from their strengths. And number 5 is this: ask questions. The best way to learn is to watch and ask questions. Don't hold back. Seek clarity. Ask what you don't know. When John C Maxwell was working somewhere, when he was much younger, he was working in this what's the place called? In fact, when he was in college, it was his first year in college, and he took up this part-time job at a local plant in Ohio. They would slaughter cows, they would keep them in giant refrigerators, and then anytime customers wanted to get meat, he would pull their order out of the freezer. And so he was always asking questions. What was unclear to him, he would seek clarity, until one day an older colleague told him that, hey, young man, you are always asking questions. Look at me. I've been in this place for so long. The only thing I do is to kill cows. That is all I know to do, and that is what I do. If you ask too much questions or too many questions, they will want to put so much burden on you. They will think that, oh, you know so much, and so they will give you more responsibility. So you had better keep your mouth quiet. Is it not funny that we have some people who are like this today? Some people want to volunteer to do something, or they want to ask questions, or they want to answer questions, but then when they remember that the burden is going to fall on them, they will keep quiet. Some people want to suggest some things that can work in a particular place, at their place of work or at church or wherever, but they remember that once they say it, they will now say they should spearhead it, they should lead it, they should champion that particular cause. So they hold back, right? So don't hold back. Ask questions. Make sure that you're always asking questions. Don't assume. We live in a world where a lot of people assume. I thought, but I thought you did it. But I thought, I heard. Did they not say, everything is pointing at other people? What about you? When they told you, when you thought, did you not ask questions to clarify? Ignorance is not an excuse. So ask questions, right? This chapter has focused on the importance of learning from others, but you never know who might be listening and learning from you as well. John C Maxwell said one day he received a surprise call from Dick Vermeil, who was a legend coach, right? An award-winning coach who had won a Super Bowl, received a call from him and was so surprised because he wasn't expecting such a call. And what did Vermeil told him? He said he was calling to let John Maxwell know that he's been reading his books and receiving his CDs for 6 years. He listened to the lessons in his car, and he even taught them to his players and to the coaches under him. Right, so he was calling to thank him. To thank him for such incredible lessons, right? So you just never know who is watching you, who is learning from you, who is listening to you. They may not even say anything, but people are watching you. They are learning from you. The day you decide to compromise or you decide to just give up, you never know the many lives that you're impacting negatively if you decide to compromise on your standard, or if you decide to pack it up thinking that nobody is watching. No. That's why we are advised not to do anything just because of people, just because of other people's validation. It may just be one person somewhere who sees you as a role model. I can tell you this for free. Since I started creating content, I cannot even begin to tell you how many people would come into my DM to tell me how much of a blessing I am. When I started, I never thought it to be a thing like, let me just do content, let me just share my knowledge, let me just share what I know with people. But it's amazing to know that what is common knowledge for you is not common knowledge for everybody. That thing that you don't value, that I think that this does not mean anything, everybody's supposed to know this. Somebody somewhere honestly needs it for their next level to become better. So that's why you should not hold back. That is why you should maintain your standard, keep improving on yourself, keep giving your best at every point in time. Don't lower your standard. Even when you feel depressed and discouraged that nobody is applauding you, I'm telling you, keep doing it, keep going on. You just never know. And don't ever close your mind. You never know who is going to say something that is going to bring about the change that you desire in life. Everybody has the potential to teach you something. It was a real privilege to chat with Vermeil, according to John Maxwell. That kind of encouragement can energize a person for months. But it also does something else. It proves the learning principle. If someone like Dick Vermeil, a guy who has won the Super Bowl, can learn something from me, then it is true that each person we meet has the potential to teach us something. I really hope that you enjoyed this teaching and you picked one or two lessons. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. Don't forget to like this video, share your comments with me, and please subscribe to this channel in case you're yet to subscribe. I remain Olaide Agbaje, also known as First Lady. And on this channel, I inspire you to live intentionally. I'll come your way again tomorrow by God's grace, and then we're going to be reviewing the charisma principle. It is going to be another exciting review. Until then, be intentional. Bye. You're welcome. You're welcome.